Hi everyone, I'm Kim from Yesterday's Tomorrows. I'm part of the Paint Couture creative team, and join me today while I create this vintage shabby chic shutter, wooden shutter that I got thrifted at a antique store. All right, so we'll be using a bunch of Paint Couture colors today. The first color I'm going to be putting on, this is called Vintage Moss, my favorite color. I'm just putting it on randomly here and there. I'm not covering the whole thing because we're going to be doing a chippy effect, and I want a couple of different color greens to come on through. So now I'm adding the color Autumn Sage. Okay, so you're going to see Autumn Sage and the Vintage Moss showing through the chippy effect that I'm going to show you how I create. Now I decided, let me put it into a little cup, so because some of the other paint is still wet and I don't want to get Vintage Moss into my Autumn Sage bottle. All right, so now it doesn't matter if you go over the other color and you combine them, that it's even going to look prettier. All right, now you want to put it in the middle of the wooden shutter, and now we put the two colors. And when you combined the two colors together, it also makes it like a third color in there. All right. So now we're going to be painting the actual shutter part that we're going to apply decoupage paper to with the color Cozy Beige. Now, when you are doing decoupage paper, you know the drill. You always need to paint the underneath some sort of a white color just so that your papers pop and you see the image of the paper really, really nicely. All right, so the color that I'm using is almost one of my newest favorites, Cozy Beige. All right, so now you got to dry it. And once it is dry, you need a candle. Does it matter what color candle it is? No, it doesn't. I just happen to have a green color candle. Now, let me show you a trick. If you heat up your surface a little bit and then you rub the candle over it, when the surface being warm, it'll actually get the wax of the candle to go on a little easier because it's almost like the candle is melting. So I'm applying the heat just like so, and then I'm putting the candle on, and it glides on your surface so much easier if you heat up your wood a little bit more before you apply your candle. So like I said, it doesn't matter what color candle is. I just happen to have a green color candle. All right, so now I'm adding the Cozy Beige over the existing paint and the wax of the candle that I just did. All right, now I'm not putting on a perfect coat because we're going to be doing a chippy effect anyway, so I'm just applying one coat, and it doesn't matter to me if I don't get complete coverage because we want to see some of that color pop through there anyway. So after I apply the coat of the Cozy Beige of Paint Couture, then we're going to just take a scraper and we're going to be scraping some of the paint off. All right, first you got to dry it and make sure it's totally dry. And then I just use a paint scraper. There you go, look at that one. That looks dangerous, right? All right, so there we go. If you could see, I'm just scraping some of the paint, the Cozy Beige paint back, and it's showing some of the Autumn Sage and the Vintage Moss colors that I applied underneath. So just go easily. You don't want to go hold your tool too hard because then what happens is you're going to dig into the wood, if that makes sense. All right, you just want to get the coat of the Cozy Beige that you put on there off. You don't want to really gouge the wood, so just go easy with your paint scraper. Now, I go both ways. I go horizontally and vertically, and I think it gives a really, really pretty chippy effect. It gives more of a natural effect, like this has been out in the element for a really, really, really long time. All right, so once you do that and you get all the chippiness that you want, now the harder you scrape, the more of the underneath color is going to come through. Not the harder you scrape, the more you scrape, I should say, the more color of the greens are going to come through. Now, I don't want a lot of green, I just want a little bit. All right, so now you just take your favorite decoupage paper, whatever that may be, and I'm using the Paint Couture Decoupage Medium and Shine, which is my absolute favorite. And I'm just taking, this is Roy Cycle Treasures decoupage paper, and I'm applying it to the shutters. All right, so I just applied one coat of the decoupage medium, and I applied it to the first one of the shutters. And then, if you can see what I'm doing, And then I'm just applying it to the second shutter, and then I'm just going to go on and so forth as I continue on down, just like so. Then after that is all dry, and it's got to be completely dry, guys. Please let it be completely dry, or what's going to happen is you're going to tear your paper. You will see in a couple of minutes, couple of seconds, I am going to be just taking a regular box cutter, and I'm going to be taking the box cutter, and I'll be going into the rungs of the shutters, and it'll really give it a really pretty shutter effect on there. All right, so now I'm just applying the Paint Couture Decoupage Medium Shine. That is my absolute favorite. It says shine on it, but it dries like a satin. All right, so we continue all the way to the bottom, just like so. And we're going to dry that, and then I'm going to show you how I take my box cutter and go through the different rungs of the shutter. Okay, so just take your dryer and dry it. And like I said, make sure it's totally dry, or you will tear your paper. And if you tear your paper, that's okay. All you need to do is just take your decoupage medium, put the piece of paper that you tore back on it, and nobody will know the difference. Just an FYI. All right, so this is just a box cutter. Get it anywhere. I think I got this from Harbor Freight. And just go very slowly, and it'll come off so easily for you. All right, so I'm just going to do my first rung. I'm not sure what you call these parts of the shutters, guys, but you just take your box cutter easily, and you just go right on down. And if you see it's a little wet, just dry it again, and just dry it a little bit more, and then go back to your box cutter. Once you take your box cutter and you go through the rung, then you just take your decoupage medium and secure the ends down to the wood, and that's how easily it is to decoupage a wooden shutter. And it's just so pretty. And I love this decoupage paper with the birds on there and the pine cones. So this is really a pretty fall look for your home vintage shabby chic home decor. All right, see, so if you can see, I'm just taking my brush and putting it inside the rungs there. There it is, and look how pretty that turned out. So now you're just going to dry it, and then I'm going to add a little bit of an embellishment in there. Now, these are really pretty. These are by iFlex, and they're wooden appliques, and this one is called Lily. So what I'm doing is I'm taking the Cozy Beige, and I'm painting them. It's the same color that I used on the wooden shutter. And then we are going to give it a more antique-y look by using the Van Dyke glaze on top of it. So you want to dry first, and then you just apply the Van Dyke glaze as so. I just took a little artist brush, and that's how I'm applying it. And then you just take a baby wipe, and you wipe it back as much as you want. Now I want a lot of the Van Dyke glaze showing in the nooks and crannies, so I'm keeping a lot of it in there, but you can wipe it back as much as you want by using the baby wipe. I recommend a baby wipe more than a paper towel. It'll come off a little bit easier for you. So there's my second one, and then I'm going to be applying it to the third. Now when you get these, they do come in a package of 3. All right, so there they are. Aren't they beautiful? And they're going to add such a pretty element to this shade. All right, so I'm also applying the Van Dyke glaze onto the wood right there of the shutter. I said shade, the shutter. And I'm just wiping it back just to give it more also of an antique vintage look. And I just apply it like that, and I just take my baby wipe and wipe it back just like that. Now you don't have to worry about putting a top coat or anything when you put this glaze on, because the paint I use, Paint Couture, also has a built-in primer and a top coat already in it. So I'm just taking Titebond Quick and Thick, and that's what I use to apply all my molds. Whether I use resin or the iFlex, I always use the Titebond Quick and Thick. All right, sorry that you can't see me applying it. It's sort of out of the frame. And here it is all done. I hope you enjoyed this video, and thank you again so much for watching. And it's Kim from Yesterday's Tomorrows. Thank you.